Next, we'll bring you the women's 4. And we have the world champions from Netherlands. They have had tough races with Great Britain, and Great Britain have been getting the better of it so far this year. But as we say, the rest of the world has come to town. And we've got this New Zealand 4 with the Gowler sisters, either end of the crew.
As you say, Greg, the women's 4 from New Zealand in lane 1. Jackie Gowler, Phoebe Spores, Davina Waddy and Kerry Williams. In lane 2 from the USA, Emily Kohlfeldts, Kelsey Relick, Mary Matsio Manson and Caitlin Nifton. In lane 3 from the Netherlands, Oldenburg, Drenthe, Offrens and Boonstra. In lane 4 from Great Britain, the legendary Helen Glover up in the bow seat, along with Booth, Redgrave and Shorten in the stroke seat. From China, Zhang, Lu, Wang and Xu. And in lane 6 from Australia, Gaffney, Mitchell, Swick and Goodman. We saw a fantastic story on the Rowing Australia website and in the media of Jean Mitchell and her return to elite rowing after having brain cancer. So a fantastic story about Jean. Check it out online if you get the chance. But we are away here in this women's 4.
Well, here we go. This is one of those races where the form crews from Europe have been the Netherlands and Great Britain. The Netherlands, of course, world champions last year. But the rest of the world is here, as you can see it, with New Zealand, the United States, China and Australia. So a completely different level of competition as they're getting away. Yeah, great to see that Australian 4, that Australian story, as you say, of Jean Mitchell. Fantastic to see them competing here now. And looking, they were, of course, Australia Olympic champions back in the 4, but a completely different lineup.
That's right, there we can see the British looking dangerous in lane 4 in the centre of the course. We know at World Cup 1 that the British won the gold medal. The world champions from the Netherlands picked up the bronze. But here to make amends, going bow ball for bow ball at this early stage of the race.
Well, here we see the face of Rebecca Shorten in that stroke seat, backed up now by Sam Redgrave. These two were world champions back in 2022, reunited in the stern of that boat. And it was really interesting watching the race actually at World Cup 1, because Great Britain won at World Cup 1, quite a long way ahead of the Netherlands. The Netherlands then chose to actually take a week of holiday. Then they went off and did altitude training. So it's kind of going to be a dialed up version of these Netherlands crews that we're seeing. And that's exactly what the British are experiencing now. Previously, they would have had some distance on the Netherlands, but the Netherlands pretty much bow ball to bow ball with Great Britain at the front of the field. Looking at Esme Booth there in the 2 seat. Brings some real strength, length, power to that 2 seat. And then, as you said, the experience of Helen Glover, Olympic champion back in 2012 and 2016, always in a pair, always in the bow seat. I can't help thinking she looks most comfortable in the bow seat. And that British boat now has just got that out to about a canvas lead. And that Dutch crew, who always make it look so easy. I'm sure they have quite a tough gearing, but they look relatively short, just like their women's pair in the finish. Just get on to the next stroke. So they tap it along.
Yeah, it is really interesting seeing the Dutch compared to the British from a technical perspective, because all of their women's crews do have this similar profile. They look short, but it's because generally their rowers are so tall. They don't have to overstretch in front of the pin. They just have a really unfussy style straight up and down the boat.
Well, Helen Glover famously wasn't quite tall enough to be talent eyed into rowing. She stood on tiptoes to get in there, compared to these Dutch women who are also talent ID with the rowing program, and they are fantastically tall, strong athletes. You see them off the water. You can see it does look that little bit shorter, but they're probably getting the same length in the water.
These two leading boats, both sitting up on about 37, 38 strokes per minute as they come through the 1,000-metre mark. It is Great Britain with just over a second on the Netherlands, and New Zealand popping up into 3rd position here. the Americans sitting back and forth, very close between these two crews. There's going to be everything to fight for the bronze medal.
Yeah, we're taking a look at this American crew. They're right up there as well. Looking Caitlin Nitton in the stroke seat. She's new to the team, Texas University grad, sitting in that stroke seat, leading that crew along. I know they're really pleased with the way they came through the repechage yesterday. And they've got that crew from New Zealand, with the experience of Kerry Williams, née Kerry Gowler, in the stroke seat, Jackie Gowler in the bow seat. As we see this New Zealand four. See, they're just edging their way ahead of the United States up there in lane one. They'll be rowing past all the support and the coaches there. And they're just trying to edge through a brilliant race there for bronze medal. China are not out of that either. At the front of the field, it's a story of inches, really. It's a game of inches that Great Britain are just moving away from the Netherlands. So really strong and upright in that stroke seat. Caitlin Nitton there. But
we can see that the race for bronze is where things are really starting to unfold between New Zealand. We see a little look there come across from Kerry Williams, of course, Olympic champion with Grace Prendergast in the women's pair, silver medalist in the women's 8 from Tokyo. That experience driving this boat as they come through the 1,500 metre mark.
Here we go through the 1,500 metre mark. Great Britain look like they've just edged away from the Netherlands. That's nearly up to a boat length. The United States have had a good third quarter. They've moved ahead of New Zealand. Daisy Mezio-Manson in the 3 seat. She was in the 8 in Belgrade. Kelsey Relic is the only one who was in the 4 that was 4th last year. And actually in the bow seat, Emily Kalfetz was a sculler back in 22 and 23, but she's come to sweep rowing. And that crew from America have pushed into their bronze medal position. As we look at the impassive face there of Rebecca Shorten. And that Britain crew. Sarah, what do you think of that steering?
I have to be a little careful there with those boys on the left-hand side. It can always be dangerous, so they'll just have to make a little correction there, but they look in control of this race. I don't think that they're feeling the pressure too much at this point. They've got clear water now over the Dutch. The Americans moving firmly into 3rd place, with the Kiwis struggling there to keep themselves in medal contention.
Well, the faces will belie the pain that they were feeling. They might be feeling in control, but they'll be feeling the effort. You can see the effort a bit more on this Netherlands crew. Last year it looked effortless in Belgrade. I know it wasn't. I know how hard they're working. As we're looking there, just seeing Esme Booth in the 2 seat. She's gritting her teeth. She's making a call. Come on. Here we go. Coming down towards the line.
And the British are coming down to the line. They're going to have just clear water over the Dutch. In fact, they are opening up more and more distance. Wow, what a strong performance here from the British.
Yeah, great finish from Great Britain there, ahead of Netherlands, ahead of the United States. A good second thousand from the United States to get that bronze medal. New Zealanders pushed hard in that 3rd quarter. But a strong, just edging through win for Great Britain. They will be pleased with their efforts at this stage, I'm sure, to find themselves ahead of the crew from Netherlands. World Championships, of course, in 2023. They've obviously done some good work since that first World Cup, had their chance to rest themselves physically and mentally in a training camp. And then this crew from the United States, you can see again the effort that they've put in. They're a crew that's probably going to get better as they gel more and more. So again, I'm sure they will be looking to move on in the next few weeks towards Paris, as will the crew from New Zealand coming together, I'm sure.
But a pretty dominant performance here from the crew from Great Britain, taking the win, backing up that performance from World Cup 1.
It felt like a very unspectacular kind of performance, didn't it? We were kind of waiting for something big to happen, but you know, in a rowing race, you don't really want anything big to happen. You just want to be faster on every stroke than the rest of the crews. And it pretty much felt like that's what Great Britain were able to do there, just kind of ease out and open up the gap the whole way. So you see it there, Great Britain going to take the gold medal.
Let's hear it for our medalists.